I made this video about a year and a half ago. The sound was removed shortly after because it had a song from The Cure in it. I'm not happy about the editing in this video, so within the next 3 months I'll create a slick How to Teach a Stay video. But until then, there's this video, a response to Zach George's punishment-based stay video that so many people have been pleading me to re-release. Okay, I want to teach you how to teach your dog how to do a bomb-proof stay without the use of intimidation and punishment. So basically using clicker training, a term coined by Karen Pryor, which in her terms means reinforcing good behavior, and the only punishment you use is ignoring. But in this instance, you're not going to be ignoring your dog because it's not part of the behavior. You can clicker train a terrible stay where the dog gets up whenever they want to, but you can also clicker train a stay that the dog, a bomb goes off, they stay put. And the great thing about clicker training a stay rather than using punishment is that you get a dog that enjoys staying and finds every distraction reinforcing the stay. Where if you punish a stay, every distraction causes stress on the dog because those distractions have been paired with punishment. So they see this distraction and it reminds them of punishment. So you get a stressed out dog. The more distraction there is, the more stress they get. And you'll see they'll start panting heavily and you'll see these bags form under their eyes. Where a reinforced dog takes on every distraction with, woohoo! Yay, a distraction. So, for instance, a child running past the dog, a punished dog might start to get really stressed out. Maybe the kid's going to come mess with them and they've been punished for leaving the stay so they feel trapped. Where a reinforced dog sees the kid as an opportunity for more reinforcement, treats, petting, whatever. Another thing that's bad with using punishment is that you condition the dog to not only not like eye contact, but not like handling. You put your hands on the dog and pair it with punishment, you get a dog that doesn't like to be handled. So the way I train it is I actually reinforce dogs for being petted in the way that usually people would punish a dog, so that your dog is the safest dog possible with kids. A kid can grab your dog by the face, stare them in the eye, and they love it because it's been paired with a good thing. There are 3 really important things, in my opinion, to teach the stay. First, clarity. Instead of having a cue that means stay sitting, just have the word sit mean sit until I tell you to get up. Because how confusing is it when you tell your dog to sit and stay means stay sitting until I tell you to get up. But then what does the cue sit mean just by itself? Sit means get up whenever you want to, or what? Is it a party trick? So you have, in my opinion, adding the cue stay is very confusing because you add the cue stay to down. So if you've been practicing sit stay, then down stay sounds a lot like sit stay. And you'll find that you might have a dog that starts to go into a down from a sit or sit into a down. If they're worried about what's going on, they start to change position. So I would just have sit mean sit until I get up. So sit for 3 hours until I get up, or sit for 5 seconds before you say, okay, let's go on the curb. But always release your dog. Don't have your friend come over and ask your dog to sit, give them a treat, and then walk away. And there's that dog sitting there, and they think to themselves, should I keep sitting? Should I get up? They get up, no one cares, and that's the end of your sit stay. So every time you ask your dog to sit, release them from it. The second aspect is make distractions reinforcing. So every distraction is now the opportunity for reinforcement. So quickly wean off that treat, treat, treat for the sit stay, and the treats are now only coming every time there's a distraction. Therefore, every distraction is reinforcing the dog to stay in place because they've been paired with a good thing, which is whatever wonderful treat that you've been giving them. Obviously, if you're giving them kibble, you get a kind of measly behavior. So the behavior that the reinforcer you use is the behavior you'll get. So you'll get a kibble stay, which is a very lame stay in my opinion, where if you've been using really reinforcing food, you've been pairing those neuron connections of wonderful experience with distraction, then you get a wonderful stay. So don't be meager on reinforcers. Okay. The third aspect of a stay is proofing. Even with punishment, you have to proof. So obviously, if you're throwing hot dogs in front of your dog, they're going to learn, oh, I don't break a stay for hot dogs. But a squirrel runs by, just because you've proofed with hot dogs does not mean the dog is going to stay for squirrels. So you have to proof just as much with punishment as you do with positive reinforcement of a stay. And that means hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of corrections for every new thing that you proof. Where with a dog, where you use just reinforcement, that's hundreds and hundreds of treats, which if you take out of their daily food, amounts to a really satisfied dog that loves you, isn't intimidated by you, etc., etc. So she's never done this before, so I'm going to get her to sit, give her a treat, get her interested in hot dogs, and now instead of trying to trick her into breaking her stay, I'm going to teach her what I want her to do from the beginning. So as I throw the treat, I'm going to click and reinforce her for staying with me. So at no point does she ever break her stay. And that way you get a dog that's steadfast, has a steadfast stay. So let's try that again. I'm going to get her to sit, and we're going to move a little fast here because I want to fit this all into a video, but you want to work on just tossing the treat and clicking at the same time. So I toss it and click for her, focusing on me and not going for that treat. Okay, good girl. And remember to pick up the treat that you threw. So let's try that again. Toss the treat, she gets a treat just for staying there. And for staying there as I want to fetch the other treat. So I'm going to toss the treat, click her for looking at it, but not getting up. Good girl, okay. And remember to release your dog, because if you don't, they'll get up whenever they want. So you really want to have that firm in mind. Sit means sit until I tell you to get up. So this time, I'm going to rush her a little bit. I'm going to toss the treat and click her for just staying. Toss the treat, click her for staying. So every time there's a distraction, okay, it's an opportunity to earn a reward. And this way, I myself am a very reinforcing thing to be around. If I'm constantly, no, stop that, stop getting up, every time she gets up I come and bother her, I myself have just became less reinforcing to her and something to stay around, something to not want to be around, and that reinforcer that she would have been punished for has become more interesting than me. And now as I throw the hot dog, I am going to reinforce her as I throw it, because this is a huge hot dog, and it's way bigger than the piece I threw last time, so it's a new thing to prove. So I throw the hot dog, click for her, ignoring it. Yay! Good girl. Pick up the hot dog. Okay, good girl. Now I'm going to try throwing it a little closer. Remember to release your dog every time, every exercise before they choose to get up. Or just keep reinforcing them so they stay in the position. Overton! Down. Good girl. Now I'm going to throw the hot dog quite close, which is a new aspect. So I'm going to reinforce her by clicking her immediately as I throw it. Click her for picking it up. I'm going to throw it closer to her. Yay, good girl. So every time she looks at the hot dog, it's an opportunity for reinforcement. But if she gets up, no hot dog. So she hasn't broke her stay to get the hot dog. I haven't let her practice that. So all she knows is that staying there, because I've clicked before she had a chance to think about it, the most reinforcing thing for her is staying there. Down. 1 hot dog. 2 hot dogs. Good girl. 3 hot dogs. Yay! Good job. Can I walk away? This is danger zone. Danger zone. I am the most reinforcing thing to my dog because I have never punished her, never intimidated her. She trusts me. Okay, so come here. Put me down. Good girl. And now, the toss of the dogs. So because there's so many, I'm going to click her just for laying there as I toss them. Another hot dog. Hot dog. Oh, now I'm going to try one on the other side of her. So that's a behavior to be reinforced because there hasn't been one thrown on that side of her. Here goes the next one. Good girl. Another hot dog here. Woo-hoo-hoo. Good girl. Obviously you don't want to click every time you throw the hot dog, but in the beginning you want to say, yes, staying right there is just what I want. I want you to stay there with the hot dogs. So if you notice your dog is glancing around, ooh, I'd really like one of those hot dogs, then reinforce that whatever they notice is the distraction. I'm going to pick that one up. Treat. Don't let them get the hot dog. Obviously, then you're training them to break their stay. So you got to be fast. If you think your dog is faster than you haven't worked on the stay that much before, then make sure you can grab the hot dog before they get it, or the reinforcer, the toy, whatever it is. Because if they get up and they get it, you're training them to get up and get it. What if I throw them all at once? Well, first I'll get her to release her. Okay. Good girl. Let's try that again. Puppy down. Now I'm going to throw all of the hot dogs at the same time. So here goes. Good job! Yay! Good girl, what do you think of those hot dogs over there? And I'm picking them up. She's staying there. She's got flies all over her, sadly. Okay, here goes. I'm going to throw them quite close to her this time. And I'm going to be ready in case she thinks to go get them. So I'm going to click first. Good girl! Yay! And we actually haven't worked on a leave it yet, which is great. I mean, not great, but you can see that you can still do it without a leave it. So now I'm going to throw the hot dogs behind her. This is going to be a new one, so I'm going to click her for ignoring them. Good girl! And it's a little startling. They made kind of a thumping noise. Okay. She comes to me rather than the hot dogs, but I'm going to ask her to down again. Down, so that she can't get them. And the final, throwing without the click. So let's hope she's learned, and I'll just do it with a couple, that any distraction means don't get up, so far that we've done. So I'm going to throw 2 hot dogs this time, but not click her until a couple seconds after. Good girl. Throw the hot dogs, she doesn't get up, she looks at me, that same response. No, I've never punished her at all. No intimidation. She looks at me, she gets a treat. Pick up the hot dogs, throw them again. Why would she want to get up? She's been reinforced for laying there.